Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Guns, brought to you by Patriot Patch Company and Primary Arms. This show offers commentary on all of the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Matt Larosiere, and I'm joined by a very special surprise guest, Shawn Herrin.
Wait, who's surprised?
Yeah, no, it's nice to have you on the show again. You know,
It's nice to be here, Matt. Thank you so much for bringing me back time after time.
time after time.
Exactly. We should start a duet group.
We should.
Where we just travel.
I literally don't see a legal reason not to.
I definitely can't see an ethical reason not to. So,
I think that's all the reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Both these are the things that we're good at. You legal and me ethical. No, I'm kidding. Terrible at ethical stuff.
Whatever. It's only unethical if somebody complains.
Exactly. And even then, that's why I block people all the time.
Blocked.
Exactly. Should we pay a bill first?
We should. Let's keep the lights on. What's going on over at Primary Arms?
All right.
Oh, they got a little Douglas.
They do. What do you think of the little 9mm pistol caliber carbines?
I think they're really interesting. I think they're great for practice and stuff like that. Well, during normal times where 9mm is less than 308. We're kind of in an interesting time period right now where it might be cheaper to practice with 308
right,
9mm. But like, just generally speaking, and for like, practicing at indoor ranges and stuff, I think they're great. The only thing, and it's something that it bothers me a lot, but everyone else gets upset if it's not there, is I don't like when a PCC takes Glock mags because they come back at an angle and look all silly.
They do. Or at least if you're going to do that, somebody make a grip that matches the angle of the Glock mag.
Right.
That's really all I care about. But Foxtrot Mike, they actually do. I've had several of them in my hand throughout time, and actually like them quite a bit. And they're pretty hard to get. They're pretty unobtainium, and they're in stock right now. PrimaryArms.com.
It's available for sale. You can purchase it with fiat.
Exactly. $564.99 for the entire thing.
That's reasonable.
It really is.
That's for the whole ass gun.
Yeah. Exactly. Watch where you put the dash.
Yeah, guys, go check it out. frn.deals/PA. They've got all kinds of stuff. And you can sort by in stock and see what you might be able to spend that check on.
Heck yeah. Wait, are we getting more checks from the government?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh.
Depends on, several factors. How many kids you have, the whole nine.
I have 4 kids, but they're all grown-ups entering their late 20s. So
I just lie.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
See, I am not good at ethics.
Well, so aside from that, there's some good news to go into. Remember last time we were talking about how in Texas, the Texas Senate was worried about a constitutional carry bill going through. They didn't think they had the votes in the state Senate. Well, it looks like they pushed it through, which is pretty cool. As you know, previously there were a lot of Republicans that were opposing this bill at the behest of both. We've got the typical suspects, the training people who are worried about keeping their job or whatever, and then law enforcement. So they made a couple little modifications to it, including enhancing penalties for felons who are caught carrying, and barring permitless carry if you've been convicted of making a terroristic threat or disorderly conduct with a firearm.
Most of my YouTube videos are disorderly conduct with a firearm, actually.
Yeah, no, so I'm definitely still not moving to Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, mainly because it's Texas, but...
Yeah, I mean, Texas is one of the two. I always said there's 2 states I would live in, Florida and Texas. But if you can't even be disorderly, I don't see the appeal. I don't really get it. I don't get the draw.
Actually, so yeah, there's 2 places I would move: Tennessee and Texas.
A lot of people like Tennessee.
Yeah, I've been there once and I fell in love with it.
I don't want to go someplace with like out of coast.
I mean, they have like water. It's just surrounded by land.
Yeah, that's not how it works. At least as far as I understand water. I think water is supposed to connect you to Europe for your shipments.
Fair. I'm pretty
But,
excited about this Texas thing, though. I mean, honestly, like this is a good thing. I'm shocked, which is it's terrible to say. I'm
Yep.
shocked that it actually went through, and it doesn't even look like they added too much of poison pill
no.
to get it there.
Yeah, I mean, they just did like it's kind of de minimis. It's like annoying, but it's still definitely a step in the right direction. So now it's got to go back because it's different from the House version. They're gonna have to negotiate differences before it goes to the governor, who has already said that he'll sign it. So
yeah,
that's looking good, pretty much overall.
Way to go, Texas! The stars at night.
You did it.
Like half of our listeners just stopped whatever they were doing, like crashed their car, but they had to clap and say Texas.
And then everyone clapped.
Good stuff.
That's funny. But yeah, next up, I'm sure you guys were expecting us to talk about this. NYSRPA, the Supreme Court Second Amendment case that's heading up. This is, this news broke a while ago, but this is a big deal. It had been over 10 years since the court heard a gun rights case, because a lot of people think, Heller's is a great big decision. It's actually, to be honest, a really weak and crappy decision. There's no law in it. There's no directives, right? There's no specific standards. It's just kind of, the Second Amendment it's actually kind of real. It kind of exists. So can you kind of figure it out, like how real it is? And so what we've needed was a case where the Supreme Court just straight up said, not this is what's allowed, this is not what's allowed, but this is the logical standard that you have to apply when you're evaluating a gun rights case. And in my opinion, the correct logical standard would be, does the law affect firearms at all? If so, it's unconstitutional.
I like
it. But so yeah, this case is about New York State's concealed permit, like handgun permit, weird deal. And there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. I've got a buddy in my Discord. He goes by Mongoose, and he was explaining to me how, like, when you get this type of permit, there's like multiple layers of permit. Like there's a sportsman's permit, and then there's, where you can get it upgraded to actually being able to carry. That apparently, so once you have this base layer permit, there is no penalty for carrying with it, right? So even if it doesn't explicitly, and I haven't checked into this, but it's some kind of rigmarole right like that, where it's like either the first or second level of the permit, if you carry with it, there's actually no punishment. So that's really interesting. But the main deal here, and the weird thing about this, is that the state law gives an exemption to the city of New York City to just completely not follow the law. And that's like really clown shoes, bonkers.
Yeah.
But so yeah, the question that's before the Supreme Court is now, it's not about the permit system broadly. Unfortunately, it got narrowed, right? Because the court always likes to take these little tiny slices. They like to find that one little grain of rice and then chew on it and then put it back, right? So that's what their little grain that they picked out is, okay, these plaintiffs, these people who applied for a carry permit, did the state violate the Second Amendment when they denied their permits? So, we should still get good result out of this and good law to apply, and then destroy the other, may issue permit systems. It's just probably not going to be that immediate wham, that we really wanted.
Was one of the problems with Heller the fact that it was too broad and not specific enough, or the opposite?
The thing about Heller is that it was just like this meandering, like, word salad.
Yeah.
It never referred to anything really. And it's like, we're not saying anything like really is or is not legal or is not covered by the Second Amendment, except the right to keep a loaded and operable handgun in your house. Right. And they're like, we're not calling into question this, but we're also not saying this is legal. Like, we're also not saying this is constitutional. It was just like this big thing about text history and tradition of the Constitution. Basically, it doesn't give you much to go off of unless you're dealing with that very, very similar type of thing, right? Are arms, right? Are the arms protected by the Second Amendment? Like what? But we don't even have like the court didn't announce a standard. They were like, this is not okay. And then they went on and on and on and on. And then the lower courts kind of took little bits and pieces of it that they liked. Mm-hmm. And that's why each one has their entirely different version of how to evaluate a Second Amendment claim. Then like in the Ninth Circuit being, you don't have a Second Amendment claim, right? But and in other circuits actually giving it some teeth.
Okay, so for this one specifically, because they failed to show special need, they were denied these permits. So what specifically is the piece of rice that the court is going so that they're going to be looking at?
Yeah, so it's these people, the plaintiffs, right? When the state denied their permits, did it violate the Second Amendment?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gives you, it gives you a nice little analytical game to play. And you can have a good decision come out in something like that because, what they can say is, the right to keep and bear necessarily, like bear is a separate component than keep. So there must be some right to use and have a firearm, outside the home. And if you effectively don't grant that, absent bribery or, however the heck they do it, or if you are granting those on like arbitrary levels, that's, that violates the Second Amendment, right? So that's the type of thing that I would say that would be like a good result.
Okay. So these specific individuals were denied. That's the court that's currently going to the Supreme Court. And then I'm just trying to dig into this because I'm not sure I 100% understand. So if the Supreme Court rules for them, and then what, New York has to grant them concealed carry permits?
Right. So then, it'll go back. Well, they may be entitled to damages, they may be entitled to certain things.
Which is good, but
but it'll mean that now they're on notice. Now the state's on notice as to that their conduct did violate the Second Amendment. And so the state's being a bit savvy and not wanting to keep getting sued once it's already been established that what their conduct was unconstitutional. It would behoove them to make a change. So here the certified question is whether the state of New York's denial of petitioner's application for concealed carry licenses for self-defense violated the Second Amendment.
Okay, so they re-examine this, probably grant them those permits as long as they're legal and law-abiding and can pass all of the whatever nonsense that they have to do that. So then someone else gets denied by like another place in New York City, I don't know, I'm not sure how New York's set up.
Somewhere else in the state because
somewhere else in the state.
Yeah.
And then they file a lawsuit, but then there's this precedent now that exists. So their attorneys would clearly go, look, hey, U.S. Supreme Court said that this is a thing and that this violates the Second Amendment. And then the city could move forward with it, but they're probably going to lose, I guess, or maybe even they win and then it goes to the Supreme Court again, right?
Right. So they could make an argument and be like, no, this case is different because this guy, it was a Thursday when he applied, right? But I don't think they're going to give him that kind of out. I don't think they're going to that would take such a really narrow opinion. So if the opinion was, oh, well, this person had 3 life threats, and this person was, reported being followed. So you denied it, right? And that's not okay. So then it would be oh, well, you only had 2 threats. So, and you didn't report being, they could go that way. I think it's more likely that it's more likely that the court will recognize a right to carry outside the home and apply it to the individuals. And that way they're not directly overturning all these laws, but they're creating precedent that would make it very clear that, Hawaii and other places that have, these very restrictive may issue permit systems need to turn them around. That's the way I see it going. I think we're going to get a result like that. That's, hey, guess what? Ninth Circuit, you said this right doesn't exist at all. You're stupid. It obviously exists. And here it was violated, right? And so that's going to mean every law that's as or more restrictive than New York's is suspect and is probably going to change very quickly.
Gotcha. So what if the Supreme Court rules the opposite direction? What do you think that might mean?
So that would cement, right, as constitutional, the May issue permitting scheme. And that would mean that
real bad.
Yes, it would mean that like the status quo is locked in for a long time. And
then because of that kind of reverse precedent, I bet we see other states like Colorado, who used to be the Wild West and now is the wild pool of idiots, probably making more stringent.
I think what you do is see them just copy pasting.
Yeah.
They'd be like, this one held up. Click, click, you know, and then they like, because that would make their cases bulletproof effectively. And I mean, like, this would, of course, that would be a total like failure of all of their responsibilities as the Supreme Court, but it's possible, you know.
Holy moly, no kidding.
I don't think that's how it'll go, but that's kind of what would, you know.
And generally, when the Supreme Court does take a case, like it's usually something that they see as actionable, right? Like it's something that they, and I'm speaking in mass generality here, but it's something that they see as like, hey, like this might be definitely something we want to look at because we may disagree with it, or maybe that's some of the actual justices' like opinion when they vote to grab this, right?
So the thing that they most look at is, well, of course, the importance of the question, and then another huge factor is what the lower courts' position are, like all the various circuit courts. When they're in conflict, as they unbelievably are in the Second Amendment context, it's called a circuit split. And the court, it's like one of their main jobs is to resolve a circuit split because, you know, it's kind of messed up when you've got the same federal law that gets applied one way in this part of the country and one way in another part of the country by the federal courts. It's kind of like up to the Supreme Court to resolve those conflicts.
Okay.
Because if they don't, like, literally, that means that just Ninth Circuit judges can decide what the Constitution means. And that's not really how it was supposed to go, you know?
Okay.
It also wasn't originally supposed to go that the Supreme Court got to decide that, but we wound up there very, very quickly.
True. Okay, cool. Sorry for all the dumb questions. I just want to make sure I understand.
No, those are good questions, and I'm sure the audience is going to appreciate it.
There's so much subtle nuance here.
Yeah, and I'm more of a hammer than anything else.
Same.
I'm just like, law bad. Kill law.
Agreed.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Well, in other federale news, and this is kind of interesting, House Republicans have wrote a letter to Senate leadership. In it, 69 of the House Republicans wrote saying that Chipman is a bad dude and is ugly.
Well, they were right.
They were right. This is evidence-backed research. You know, I fully support it. This is I was kidding. They didn't say that they're ugly, but they did say that he is a obvious enemy of the Second Amendment, citing him working in activist groups, and you know, the positions he's taken over the years. Yeah.
Like his hero pose in front of the burning corpses of men, women.
Have we figured out if that's him yet?
I don't know, but in my mind it is.
Yeah, I accept that it is.
Yeah.
I just always like to point out that we don't actually know, but I want, like, what if somebody's got to confirm it or deny it at some point.
Well, here's the way to confirm or deny it. Go post a picture of it on Facebook and say, this is David Chipman. And then if you can't post for 7 days after that, then it's true. Otherwise it's a lie.
Yeah, no, if official sources dispute the veracity of the claim, then it means you were
exactly.
Yeah.
Top stories, the arbitrators of truth in the United States, isn't that's one of the Facebook fact-checking groups.
God.
I'm like, okay, tabloid name, whatever.
Yeah.
I saw one the other day that was just so ridiculous. It was
what
like,
was it?
So it was Biden comforting his grandson at his grandson's father's funeral. And it's like the quotes were like Biden inappropriately touching boy, and the top story was like, no, this is comfort. He was comforting his grandson.
Like comforting him with his tongue or something.
No, he was just like,
what was the deal?
I mean,
just like touching his shoulders or whatever.
It creeps me out. Like I raised my boys to be men, and there wasn't a whole lot of like, caressing their cheeks and stuff as they grew up. There was like love in our house, but like there was none of that really. So watching the video, yeah, I hugged him all the time. But watching the video, it's like caressing the cheek and
and this is also in public.
Yeah, at a funeral,
right?
So it was uncomfortable. But then the top stories or whatever, they're like, no, this is totally normal, and it's the way that people show affection for their grandchildren. And okay,
yeah. That's just such a weird thing to be in, like both sides are stupid at that point.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that you should say there is, I wouldn't want, like, that's a little weird looking photo.
Right.
Like, but I'm sure. Yeah. Or a video. I'm sure in context, it made perfect sense. Maybe. But there's all kinds of things. Well, I'll give somebody the benefit of the doubt, at a funeral, if a kid's crying or whatever, you got to do whatever you can do to make them feel better.
Yeah.
I give them the benefit of the doubt. But I wouldn't want somebody to record me comforting somebody else, So
yeah, no, me either. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's against the law if they share that after you break up. No, I think, and honestly, like this is how I go about things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does this affect my life in any way? I mean, Joe Biden was at his son's funeral,
right?
Like, does it affect me in any way? Does it affect anyone that I really know or love in any way? And if I don't pay any attention to this at all and just drink some water, like, will it harm my life or change my life anyway? And if the answer is no, like I'm just gonna move on. I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but yeah, Chipman's ugly.
No, you were talking about how, like, just the way they report on this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Chipman is very stupid looking. I actually posted on Twitter, on the Fudbusters Twitter, and I asked seriously what is wrong with this guy's face, and I got a lot of interesting replies. Saying that like they didn't finish, like, he got let out of the tube too early, or there were some really good ones where like they put him next to an alien, one of those cartoon alien with the teeth all wrong, like his teeth be wrong that way.
It looks like someone attached a rope to the inside of his nose and is pulling it from behind his head, and his face is collapsing inward to the center.
It does. And his mouth is just coming along for the ride because they didn't rig it up correctly when they made him.
I just don't like it. Do you think he'll be confirmed? Like, I don't know.
No. He was just a bad choice. Like, I think he was just an objectively bad choice.
Yeah.
Even not even like for political reasons. It's just like, and we talked about it last time. He like, these are supposed to be, filled by people who are subject matter experts and are not activists. Like they just know the stuff. Yeah. And he doesn't actually know anything, and he's a total activist. So he's just not the right choice, in my opinion.
Did you see the CIA's recruiting video that they recently released?
Yes, the woke one.
Yeah. I'm like, this is bordering on like treasonous. Like they are trying to change the culture inside all of these agencies. And like,
do you want to put it up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up while you talk about it for a minute.
About this video?
Yeah.
So I didn't actually look into it that much. I just know that they like, it was really psyop-y, right? Like, like the word inclusion was tossed in there like 29 times. And this is a not inclusive group, like it's just like they picked all these weird trees or hills to die on, and they just started massacring themselves on the top of each one, and then reanimating and going to the next one, and then massacring themselves in another fantastic way. Let's check this out.
It's awkward, man. Let's see.
This is gonna be good. This is your reaction video.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll do it. I'll even turn it. Let's see.
When I was 17, I quoted Zora Neale Hurston's How It Feels to Be Colored Me in my college application essay. The line that spoke to me stated simply, I am not tragically colored. There is no sorrow dammed up in my soul, nor lurking behind my eyes. I do not mind at all. At 17, I had no idea what life would bring, but Sora's sentiment articulated so beautifully how I felt as a daughter of immigrants then and now. Nothing about me was or is tragic. I am perfectly made. I can wax eloquent on complex legal issues in English while also belting Guayaquil de mis amores in Spanish. I can change a diaper with one hand and console a crying toddler with the other.
Why you got two toddlers?
Right.
Where you get the two?
I don't understand. And if she has a toddler and it's not hers, like I want to know how she got that kid.
Yeah, where'd you get it?
You know,
I know where it is because she's a CIA.
oh,
It's in the camp.
Fair.
All right, what else you got to say?
Before we go on, like I want to say that, like, up to this point,
Yeah,
I am pretty much like okay with this. Not
neutral.
Not as a CIA recruit video, but
Yeah.
so my son married a girl whose family immigrated from Colombia. She was born in Colombia. I love that part of the family with like every bit of my heart. My granddaughter is half American and half Colombian, but all Herrin.
Right.
And you know, like to me, this like speaks to me up to this point, not as a recruitment video, but just as a like, hell yes, good.
No, yeah, I see nothing wrong with this young lady yet. You know, I love, you know, and I'm from South Florida. Like I always look at people like this as like these are hardworking, incredible people. But let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a mom. I am a cisgender millennial who's been
freeze frame, zoom into my face, wondering how I got here. Like what?
You might be wondering how I got here.
Whoa,
I am a well, and also it's like and she's even doing it wrong. You're not like cisgender, like
yeah.
That's
wait. So that means that she's a girl who thinks she's a girl?
No. Cisgender means that there's no other way to say it. It means that there's like nothing wrong with your genders, like they're the normal ones,
right?
Like
that's a fair way to say it. Like, and that's I'm not saying.
Right, but like people who are like that's not a thing that we like typically say.
Right.
You know, and you know, I have no problem with that stuff, but it's just like whenever like I've never heard somebody refer to themselves as
cisgendered. I totally agree. It was so out of place. And then
it's just like a punch. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like what? Oh, I have to be like introduce myself. Hey, Shawn Herrin from We Like Shooting. I'm heterosexual.
I'm a cis male. A cis male hetero. Why? Who cares? I don't care.
Who does care? Like that? Yeah, I really don't care who she sleeps with. I don't care about any of it.
And also, you know what's go on? I'll say it at the end.
Oh, but she's a millennial too. That's
right. Yeah, that's important.
Very important.
Been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder.
Oh boy. So
whatever. Like on the one hand, it's like it is cool, you know, because I go out and say to people, a lot of people don't like to admit, like, you know, needing to see a therapist or whatever. I'm very open when I like say, you know, that I take depression pills. And I think more people should talk openly like that.
Yeah.
But in this string, it's like the only thing I'm thinking is, lady, what are you selling? I don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she trying to show, like, I think what they wanted to do was show that, like, you don't have to be like Captain America,
right,
in the CIA. You can have like stuff that I don't even want to say that's wrong with you. You can have challenges in your life that other people may not have.
Right.
But what they really like, oh boy,
that's not what came out though.
No. Like, I don't care if you have anxiety.
They came out with, we need to hit every check marks on the way down.
Yeah. This is woke bingo.
I am intersectional, but
what does that mean, actually?
I just know intersectionality is an ideological cancer that causes people not to think about adjacent groupthink if it is adjacent to something they care about.
Yeah. The only meaning of intersectional I have is bad.
Right.
Okay, but apparently now it's a badge of honor.
My existence is not a box checking exercise.
But this video is, so very inappropriate to say.
Yeah, it's like I just checked all the boxes for you, but hey, it's not what I do every day.
Right. My
Today.
existence isn't based on it, just what I got paid to do this video.
Yeah, today.
I am a walking declaration, a woman whose inflection does not rise at the end of her sentences.
Also, at the CIA, they don't have mask protocols.
Right.
Because she's just walking down an open hallway.
Well, and also, why call out the polite deflection? Some people talk like that. It's a regional thing more than anything else.
Yeah. Also,
Like,
do you think that it's weird that she's walking by a hallway with filled with portraits of white CIA
white dudes?
men?
Yeah.
Not
White
who
CIA.
her, but
Right.
FBI.
Yeah. Whatever.
Guessing that a question has been asked. I did not sneak into CIA.
And
Didn't ask.
yeah, didn't ask either.
Yeah.
Didn't think that you did. I didn't think that we needed to build a wall to the CIA. But also, I didn't sneak into CIA. It's
Right.
not a CIA, but she does it several times in the video, which I guess just never.
That's how they do it. That's how they try to humanize themselves.
My employment was not and is not the result of a fluke.
I assume that to be the case. I would hope.
Right.
Um,
Oh, dude, she got the Donald R. Cryer Award for Diversity and Inclusion.
which would mean that. Never mind.
Cracks. I earned my way in and I earned my way up the ranks of this organization. I am educated, qualified, and competent. And
Is that an Antifa shirt?
Maybe I'll rewind it to see, but I just assume that everybody that works at the CIA is qualified to be there. No, it just says like Mia or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
It does have a fist inside of a woman's symbol.
The female thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
educated, qualified, and competent. And sometimes I struggle. I struggle feeling like I could do more, be more to my two sons. And I struggle leaving the office when I feel there's so much more to do. I used to struggle with imposter syndrome, but at 36, I refuse to internalize misguided patriarchal ideas of
Misguided patriarchal ideas. Like, dude, I have imposter syndrome every single day.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I don't understand. And
It's,
misguided,
people who I always tell people, whenever I was, working in the policy sphere, I would tell people, if you don't have imposter syndrome, it's because you're an asshole.
that's fair.
Like I seriously do. Like it's just humility. It's the most basic form of humility is to be like, question that you're an expert.
Oh, well, good. Then I'm normal apparently because yeah. Let's see. Where were we?
ideas of what a woman can or should be.
And also, like, I don't know about you, Matt, but do you have a bunch of patriarchal ideas about what a woman can or should be? Like, my girlfriend is amazing. Like, I raised two wonderful, strong daughters. Like, my idea of what a woman wants to be is like whatever she wants to be.
Well, let me think.
As long as they make sandwiches.
Actually, you know what? I just thought about it, and I don't really think or care about what other people do at all. So
Yeah, that's
like,
it's wonderful.
I just like my stuff.
Yeah, like I don't think that she should be a men's volleyball player. But other than that, I don't really care what people do. And even that, really.
Yeah, even then, like you said, what are your three questions, right? Does that affect me? Does that no? Okay, I guess I don't care.
Exactly.
I am tired of feeling like I'm supposed to apologize for the space.
Oh, her shirt says "Mija, you are worth it" with
okay,
communist fist and the woman's the symbol.
that's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
I occupy rather than intoxicate people with my effort, my brilliance. I am proud of me, full stop. My parents left everything they knew and loved to expose me to opportunities they never had.
Which is awesome and literally what this country's built on. But
Yeah. So then, how come y'all keep on killing people who try to come here? That's like weird. Like, why don't you stop?
Because of them, I stand here today a proud first-generation Latina and officer at CIA. I am unapologetically me. I want you to be unapologetically you, whoever you are. Know your worth. Command your space.
yeah, like, okay, cool.
Do they always allow T-shirts if you work at CIA?
Probably not.
Oh,
I was wondering the same thing. I was like, a t-shirt with a blazer. I'm like, well, that is something that I would wear.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I
appropriate.
wouldn't wear the blazer. I would just wear a T-shirt.
Right, exactly.
But
Exactly.
You know what? Like, so you know what I always think when I'm like, you know what would be the best way to overcome adversity and, you know, all these other unpleasant things in this world? Become a federal spook. That's the best way to do it. Because, you know, the spooks have always been on our side. They didn't, you know, when they made crack,
Right.
they were trying to save us.
Yeah.
From whatever. You know, when they aggressively and violently enforce drug laws in minority communities, predominantly Hispanic and African American communities, they do it for us. I want to be that. I want to set Americans on fire, Shawn. I want to kill them because because for us.
That's the ATF, not the CIA. The CIA is all about setting other countries.
I'm just talking generally about, no. So you know what no, you're right. To protect us, I'm going to go to the Middle East and poison wells.
Exactly.
And like
organize the downfall of dictators.
Yeah.
So install our own dictator.
Yeah. And so hand select the next brutal dictator to cut children arms off.
I mean,
because of diversity.
Right. And because you're a cisgender heterosexual male, I assume. I don't really know, but
whatever. Doesn't matter. As long as we make things just awful.
Yeah.
That's the best. Like, who the heck who has these ideas wants to go? And I don't think it's offensive to call government people spooks, right? That's people call them, right? I was just making sure.
I mean, it may be, but I don't care.
Maybe to them, right? But who wants to go do that?
I don't know. Like, I have friends that were with the agency, and I have friends that were in the FBI, and they're like good people, and they wanted to make a difference, and they did make a difference. But like at the same time, like they didn't do it because they were like, I don't know, white guys or whatever.
Yeah. I want to save the world. Yeah. No, they were like, I want a pension and I'm going to do what the government says.
But I can see doing a job like that you eventually start to believe that you're like, that you are saving the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I could totally see that.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what they program you to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is they let it leak. They let it leak out.
Yeah.
They let it ooze. And now we're going to make fun of them.
If this was two separate videos, like one just about a Latina woman who's like strong and independent and don't need no man, and she's like doing her own thing and kicking butt and taking names, like that's a pretty cool video because it's relevant to my family and my interests, and you know, like that's cool. But
no, that's cool. It's inspiring. It is like it could have been an inspiring thing, but then you're like talking about how that's why you should join the CIA. It's like, no, lady,
whoa,
no, I don't want that.
Like
I want people being inspired by you.
Especially when you're talking about the patriarchy and intersectional and cisgender and like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was a little weak. I mean, like, you know, it's just, and I don't have a problem with people studying these things and doing, you know, whatever they want with that. But it's like, come on, man, the CIA, they're not your friend. They're not anyone's friend. Whose friend is the CIA?
The president. Probably not even the president.
Yeah, sometimes the president when he's good, according to the CIA. It's scary. I don't like them. Make me feel weird.
Yeah, I can understand.
Should set them on fire.
Whoa.
No, we couldn't do that.
No,
that would be illegal
with our words.
Yeah, we should hit them with a sick burn.
Exactly. I think that's exactly what you meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Hit them with a burn. Not the thing that they do to us and other people all over the world.
Yeah, no, we're
not that thing. We would never do that.
Fact check says they never actually burned anyone alive. They just burned down a building. So get it right.
Right. Well, no, but CIA, they burn people all the time. They love setting stuff on fire. I've heard so many stories from people like who were, you know, in war zones, and they're like, the CIA people are just like animals. They just, it's like a big joke to them. I don't like him. Well, so speaking more about Chipman's little baby.
Oh boy.
Chippy Chip. Shot spotter.
Oh shit.
Or wait. Oh. No. Okay, I missed one. Oops.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. South Carolina It's a different thing. South Carolina has rejected a constitutional carry amendment to the state's open carry bill that's going through right now. And our mutual friend Othias down there in South Carolina has told me that they literally do this every single time and have for like 20 something years. That they always shoot this down. But this is interesting because they've also been shooting down open carry for a long time. And as this is plugging along, the author of this article, Herschel Smith, is theorizing that, maybe they were trying to sneak in the constitutional carry thing as a poison pill to kill the open carry bill.
Yeah.
Which is stupid because that shouldn't be a poison pill. But
yeah, I don't know. This article too, it even talks about maybe that's what it was. Maybe the guy knows something that, and that's why he voted.
Right.
So weird.
Yeah, it failed 25-21.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. But South Carolina, elect better people.
Yeah. Especially, anyway.
Okay. Now
I just like this line. Here, though. The ninnies, frightened and the tepid, must see for themselves when the state is let out of its cage that the sky doesn't fall like law enforcement and the Karens said it would.
Wow.
That's what he's saying. He's like, you have to do it one at a time, right? So that
Right.
they see that it didn't, that the whole sky doesn't fall down.
Very editorialized. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Good job, Herschel.
So right now on to Chippy's little stupid project.
Oh yeah.
ShotSpotter, right? A lot of you guys know about this. They are at the core of a fatal police shooting that left a 13-year-old boy dead. And some groups are pointing out that this system, which is 90% ineffective, happens to overwhelmingly be placed in minority communities, particularly Black and Latino communities. And that this, the combination of factors here is literally just causing law enforcement to be more violent with minority people.
First, let's talk about why is ShotSpotter being put into minority communities? Do you think?
I think that it's like the most heavily policed areas, which coincides with, so it all relates back to income. We've had a lot of government policies dating back 100 years or more that have kept, certain groups down. And people who are on lower income brackets, well, they tend to do whatever they can do to rise themselves up. And oftentimes, that can include trading in substances that the government doesn't want you to trade in. So then, of course, you already get bad relationships with police, and it's kind of like a mounting tensions type deal.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, well, we're always here, and the people won't tell us whenever a gun goes off, right? Because they don't trust us. So we're going to have this computer tell us.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that, it makes sense that some of these communities are getting it. Right. There's a lot of crime in some of these communities, a lot of people killing each other. I don't know that that's a terrible assessment, not to get ShotSpotter, but to try to come up with solutions for some of these.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. However, ShotSpotter, horrible idea. And everything that they say in their suit, I think, is pretty spot on.
Yeah, it will just call anything a gunshot, right?
Yeah.
And
They
then they get
it's 97% accurate, but
yeah, but here they said 90% of ShotSpotter alert, almost 90% of ShotSpotter alerts didn't result in officers reporting evidence of shots fired or of any gun crime.
Yeah.
So that doesn't necessarily mean, right, that it was wrong in the detection, but it means that it's not doing anything. And there are plenty of false positives.
totally.
Yeah.
And I feel like this about the way I do red light cameras. No, it's wrong. If a cop's not, it's Schrodinger's laws.
Right.
If a cop's not here to see me do it, didn't actually exist.
Yeah, it didn't happen. For sure.
Yeah.
But the issue is, right, so if a gun goes off and nobody calls the cops, right, and nobody is concerned, sure, there is a real issue where people, in a community just straight up will not talk to them. And something needs to be done about that. And it should probably not be more violent. But something really should be done. The only problem is their response is, well, we'll just freak cops out and have them going to all these random places to look for someone with a gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just not good for anyone involved.
Now, they make the point about cops that they're like go into the neighborhood when they get alerts from ShotSpotter, like more amped up. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely they do. They're going in there because of a report of shots fired. Like, yes, absolutely.
Right. And they have no other information.
Yeah. And
which is not a good place to be.
No. And so you're putting cops in a horrible situation where they're like,
right,
they're going in to somewhere where gunfire was reported. Of course they are. And that's why I think it's a bad idea. Like, you're putting them in an impossible situation. You're putting the community in a bad situation because you're sending amped up enforcement into the place.
Well, why would they not be amped up? Because all they know is that a gun's going off. They don't know if somebody died. They don't know if it was a backfiring, car. Like, they don't know anything. All they know is like, oh God, right? I'm in that part of town and they're shooting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I agree with these people. I think ShotSpotter is a disaster.
They need to delete it.
Yeah, they need to delete it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Get it the hell out of there.
Just delete it. Unfriend ShotSpotter.
Unfriend, block.
Yeah, blocked. And here's another good update from our last episode. North Carolina's House voted to get rid of that awful pistol permit system. Requiring local sheriffs to sign off on handgun purchases. The sheriffs have said this is completely outdated and we don't need it with the current background checks, which I think is a stupid reason, but whatever, at least they signed off on it. And of course there was, gun control groups were angry.
Oh yeah. Gnashing their teeth.
Right. It does still have to go up to the Democratic Governor, Roy Cooper. It passed 69-48. Largely party line, 2 Democrats voting yes, 1 Republican voting no, but yeah, so it's got to go back to the Senate, just like the other one, get discussed a little more on any changes, and head over to Governor Roy Cooper.
Good. I have to wonder. I didn't see anywhere in the article, but do you know, has he indicated one way or another whether he would sign it if it came across his desk?
I don't see any indication. It might be one of those things where he's going to push to like get them to add some crap and then sign it, so that he can say he like brokered it. But I don't see any broad consensus on it.
Interesting. Jeez, my watch just was resting up against the desk and made a really loud noise.
Well, and your video froze.
Oh boy.
Yep.
All right, I'll work on that. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it passes because I think that is dumb.
No, it's awful. Like it's terrible. And there was another article I was reading saying how there was a gun shop there that had been open since the 80s, somewhere in North Carolina, shut down because he just didn't want to deal with all of the stack tolerance of compliance that he has to deal with. From checking on the permit to this to that to the other thing. He just said it just wasn't worth it. He's just gonna sell ammo.
Let's see. So I think that your opinions on law enforcement, I'm laughing at a couple of reviews, and I guess laughing might be like, I understand, like this show is now different than it ever was in the past.
But
and I like it. And so like some people leave us bad reviews, but leave us good reviews.
I saw somebody. Yeah. You saw that one you sent me one the other day. It was pretty good.
Yeah. There's lots of good reviews, but
are you reading the reviews right now?
I check them occasionally, but
well, what are you seeing?
It's 1 star and it's very insulting to you, but it did make me laugh.
I bask in this type of criticism. So let's hear it.
Okay, it's from Ollie Jam.
Thank you, Ollie.
Disappointing. I guess this is actually from 319, so it's about 2 months old, but I just saw it. Once a great show. So I'm going to preface this by saying that once I took over the show from Jake, I saw a bunch of 1-star reviews that are exactly like this. So I have been in your shoes. It says, once a great show turned to crap by the new host, the self-proclaimed 2A advocate hipster libertarian is an insult to all three. So you need a t-shirt that says 2A advocate hipster libertarian. I expected more from FRN and not sure how Shawn puts up with the alleged expert. Spewing misleading opinion pieces. The only thing he can do is regurgitate Reddit threads. I actually unsubscribe from the network and resubscribe to the other shows individually just to not see this one on my newsfeed. It's that bad. Speaking from me personally, I guess my video froze again, but from me personally, like this show is actually what I always hoped it would be. Like this is the best iteration of This Week in Guns, as far as I'm concerned, for giving you guys valuable information, for hearing stuff that's just not regurgitating party lines, for actually having critical thought applied. And like there were some guests in the past that did, like I loved Zane and Tony Simon and Phil Rebele and others that I'm sure I'm missing. But like ultimately it was just a bunch of people, a bunch of cisgender white males saying the exact same thing over and over again. It didn't matter what the story was because the opinion, the accepted opinion was just there. And honestly, if you want to listen to an echo chamber, listen to something else, because that's not what this is. Like you finally have a host on the show that has opinions that differ and vary from the echo chamber of the 2A world. And to me, that's like the most valuable thing that it could be. Anyway, Matt, go ahead. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, I really appreciate what you're saying. And I mean, honestly, I do appreciate his comments. For one, I mean, drawing that level of ire from somebody, a stranger, it always makes me feel a little bit giddy, because I feel like I might have had an impact on someone's life. Maybe not in the way that most people like to, but I think a lot of the reason I do it the way I do is because I try to make it the show that I want to listen to. And I've been in the 2A world for such a long time. Like I've heard every time I hear the same conversation on like an assault weapon ban, I start wanting to like just put a drill bit into my ear. Like some people might not be that way. You know, like you might want to hear somebody say, it's not assault weapon because only go one shot. So it's not, you can't say that.
Yeah.
It's not assault weapon. Right. Like I don't want to hear that.
Same.
And so that's, you know, I try to think of like, and sometimes I'll even like say I'm playing devil's advocate or I'm making this weird argument, and then I'll forcefully argue for it because I want us to struggle through things and get to the end. Most episodes we don't struggle that much, but the ones where we do, I think those are the best content ever. Like the episode we did a couple of weeks ago where, you know, we did a lot of talk about law enforcement, and we went from being like here to actually completely agreeing.
Yeah. Where
else do you hear that?
I totally agree, man. I don't know. I don't really get it. And then there's like Peanut 33 exclamation point said best episode ever with the new show. Excuse me. Autocrossed said better than ever. This host blows Shawn out of the water. Like, thank God. Like that to me, like it may be a diss, but it's also freaking amazing because that's the whole idea of it. That's literally why Matt is here, is because he does blow me out of the water. And I know that. No, it's true. And I know that. And like, that's why I want you here.
Well, so I do it for fun. You know, I have a good time, and I like, you know, I've actually gotten on my personal accounts people saying, you know, thank you for picking back up This Week in Guns and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it made me feel really good. And you know, and Shawn didn't want to run this show because of what it had become. And I'm really proud of the direction we've pushed it in. I'm really proud of what we've turned it into. I think it's look, I'm biased. I'm horribly biased, but there's no good 2A news shows out there. I think
this one is.
I think this is it.
Yeah.
And you know, and we don't have a huge budget. Like I pick the stories every time. I sit there, I go through it, I pick them out, and then I write a sentence of what I think on each one, and we go off of that. And, you know, Shawn reads them beforehand too, but we don't have the budget to like have these like huge prepared things. And I'm amazed that we get to sit here and actually go in depth on the topics that, you know, I think are important every week.
Yeah.
I think it's really valuable, and I'm super happy about it. And it's honestly my it's something that a couple years ago, before I got on the show, I was like, there needs to be a way to have the essential gun news, you know, distilled. And I started writing, a weekly roundup. But then I came into this, and I think it's awesome, because guess what? Like, if you were to just sit there and read the feed of like all the gun stories, there's so much noise. Like, there's so much, on there.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to do it. It makes me feel good.
Me too. And I think it's good to have people that aren't really afraid of cancel culture. Like, look, I will have unpopular opinions. I have, like, there's a comment, 1-star review that says Shawn is a hoe. I'm like,
that might've been a friend though.
But I don't even know where I was going, but I really do enjoy
saying not being afraid of cancel culture.
Oh yeah. Not being afraid of cancel culture. Like, Matt's not afraid to speak his mind. I'm not afraid to speak my mind.
Literally don't care.
Yeah. So as that stand, like, oh, you're going to cancel my podcast. Well, that's cool. I own the network. So you're not going to cancel anything. You want to cancel an advertiser? Fine. I don't care. I'll find more to give us money.
Yeah. We'll buy another one.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Like, but I think that for the first time, one of the first times, and this is not to say that Jake didn't do a great job, but one of the reasons that I think Jake left is because it had become that thing, that echo chamber of the same people saying the same things about different stories every week. And that's what it had become with me. And when Kenny passed away, like, that was I was kind of done with it. I didn't want to do it. I knew that he loved it and worked hard on it. And that was one of the only reasons that I continued to do it. And then when Othniel suggested that Matt would be a good guy to bring on, I was like, hey, Matt, here's this podcast. It's the number 2 podcast on the network. You should just go do it.
I was like, you're helping me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Because I think it's valuable. And I think that, like, I don't know, just being able to speak out and not just follow the trends of, the 2A elite, I guess. I don't know.
So that's, working with you has been so awesome, because you don't ask to see what my opinion is beforehand. For most of my career, that's what I've had to do. Get what I'm going to say approved, and then I have to, pare down. And, sometimes I say wild shit. It's like, really not where stuff's at the moment. But you know what? I'm telling you, most of the times in the past where I've been like, we need to make this argument, in like whatever I was doing in the past, I'm not going to name any names. After it came to, it turned out that people were like, how come nobody said this? Like, how would nobody thought of that? I'm not saying like I'm a genius or whatever. I think I'm just a little bit off, and like I just get to, and I feel so free to say like, hey, from my experience and my education, this is what I'm thinking. And I don't know, it's awesome. It's really it's important. It's important for me.
Yeah. So I would love for all the people that listen, and I see this show's just as popular as ever, if not more popular now.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't actually have any of the metrics, which is funny, because you're always like, yeah, we're doing good. And I'm like, okay, I don't know.
I don't pull metrics very often. Like, I don't think they're important. What I think is important is like the stuff that I hear and the stuff that I read, the emails that we get and the messages. So if you like the show, I would love to see it in an iTunes review. If you don't like the show, I would love to see it in an iTunes review, because you guys are helping other people find it. And honestly, if someone downloads it and listens to it and leaves a 1-star review, like, dude, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, whatever.
Yeah.
It might make me giggle.
Maybe, yeah. Like, but I don't want to go off on another tangent, but
right.
Yesterday, someone introduced me to a company and said that I should work with them. And in the email, I used that F word like 3 times. And I was just like, my life is awesome. Like, because if they are turned off by that, like, I just don't care. Like, it doesn't make any difference to me at all. And like, to actually have that, and to have this avenue to like do that, that it's huge. Like it was a real paradigm shift for me.
Right.
And just realizing that I don't really answer to anybody. And it's great.
No, it's you know, I was raised by entrepreneurs, and it's the only way to live, man.
It is.
Yep.
So yeah, leave us reviews, good, bad, indifferent. Like, dude, we really want to hear them.
I do. Yeah. Well, I do.
I definitely do. Patriot Patch Company.
We got the things. They're available. They're online.
Oh yeah, you got those.
You can buy them.
Ah man, mixed goods. All mine are on my patch wall. Some ASMR for you guys.
There you go. Look at that.
Thumper.
And then you get to put it back.
I think
Like
though, I saw one coming this month that's like no one's coming to save you. I was like, that's pretty great.
That one looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. I really dig that one. But yeah, Patriot Patch Company makes patches, and patches are fun for your plate carrier, your backpack, your patch wall, the roof of your car. They're fun for everything. Matt likes them.
I do. I generally, you know, you can take 2 of them
And make a sandwich.
I like the, you know, whenever the first time I did that, I went back in and I like listened to the audio, and I was like, that's really good.
That's pleasing.
That's good audio.
This pleases me.
Yeah, no, they're cool. I have a little pile of them here because I only have one space on my plate carrier. I will, you know, why don't you guys let me know what to do with my patches, because I am a member of the Patch of the Month Club, and they send me one every month.
PatriotPatch.co, coupon code
Twig 10.
All
You
right.
get 10 twigs.
Exactly.
More than a bundle.
And you know what they call a bundle of twigs.
No, it's you know, it's more than a bundle. That's what they call it. So,
Got it. Yeah. All right. Anything else, man?
I think that's all, guys. Thank you all so much for watching us, for sticking with us through, you know, multiple host changes. We're going to keep things rolling. We're, you know, Shawn and I tuned up our schedule, so we're going to be more consistent. As long as y'all stay watching us, we'll stay talking.
Oh,
and I do want one piece of feedback I want from you guys. Let me know if you want to get more guest appearances on this show, or whether you kind of like just the one-on-one banter type deal, because I'm of 2 minds about it. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. So talk to you guys next week.